Hello, I'm Jerry Jacobs Jr., and welcome to the Save My Catholic Marriage Minute, where my main mission is to keep you out of divorce court. The Save My Catholic Marriage Minute is for you if your wife has asked for a separation or a divorce. Your wife has left the home or you are separated. Your wife is in the home, but you are in separate bedrooms. Your marriage is just plain boring or has no passion. You engage in a marital embrace less than weekly or severe less than monthly. You are divorced but didn't want it, or you are determined not to have your marriage end up like in any other above situations. Now, if you fit one of these categories and want to know how to fix it, follow these 3 steps. Step 1, of course, listen to this Marriage Minute. Step 2, after listening, visit www.savemycatholicmarriage.com. And number 3, sign up to watch the Marriage Masterclass to learn how to repair your marriage. So, let's do this. So, what are the behaviors of a troubled wife? Moreover, what are the clues your wife displays when she is unhappy and planning to leave your crazy butt? Or better yet, when it happens, how do you even know how to fix it? I'm going to show you and go over 30 clues, one by one in a series of 30 episodes, which I call Hell on Earth, the behaviors of a troubled wife. In this series, I'll give you the benefit of my over 35 years of experience in marriage. I've been married twice. My first wife died of leukemia, and we were on the verge of divorce at the time. And in my current marriage, I began to see the same crap happen that caused the chaos in my first marriage. So I had to do something, and that something was I put together a step-by-step system to help men in your situation stay out of divorce court. Many Catholics are versed in the faith will say, man, what is he talking about? There is no such thing as divorce in the Catholic Church. God doesn't even recognize divorce. And to that I say, I have talked to many so-called Orthodox Catholics and Orthodox Protestants whose wife didn't believe in divorce either. Right up until she wanted to get rid of him. Now, divorce just happens to be quite okay. And you better believe they will pursue it if it means getting you to man up and be the man she needs. Because I know from experience that no one teaches us how to even build a great, loving, passionate, and exciting marriage over decades, not just 1 or 2 years, but over decades and decades, 40 or 50 years. Hey, you can keep your head in the sand if you want and ignore all these clues that I'm going to teach you over this series, but I guarantee, not promise, you will be getting a lawyer and dividing up your assets eventually. Really, you will. Again, your wife needs validation of your love daily, and if you don't give it to her, she will find a substitute somewhere that doesn't include you. Then you will wake up. But then it may be too late, and you'll be calling me to help you out of the hell that you've created. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but it will happen. You must understand women speak in code, and you will never know what they are up to if you don't begin noticing and paying attention to your surroundings. I tell men that I work with all the time that your wife in this area is always 20 steps ahead of you. And once they get to this point, you'd better catch up or you will find yourself in divorce court. If you have even one of these clues, you should begin to perk up and nip this in the bud. If you have 2 or more, boy, you are already so far behind. and better get on your job as a man and husband, because you better believe she has begun to think about what I call the women's exit strategy, which is what? Where she has begun planning how to exit your marriage. Believe me, if you don't wake up, she will wake you up real quick with that one by taking you on a journey through divorce court hell. So before we review clue number 8, let's go over the ones we've covered so far. Number 1, does your wife seem distant? Number 2, is she spending more time with single friends? Number 3, does she seem uninterested in the marital embrace? Number 4, is she still as supportive as she used to be? Number 5, is she still as loving as she used to be? Number 6, does she go out to clubs and events without you? And number 7, does she take longer to answer your phone or text messages? So, what is the number 8 clue that your wife may want a divorce? Drum roll, please. Brrr. Does your wife frequently try to control you? If so, this is the first clue that you have serious marriage problems, man. I am not going to lie. In the fall, what happened is when Eve ate the apple in the Garden of Eden, and she took that apple and she gave it to her husband, Adam. What happened? And he ate it. That was a form of control. Okay. She knew the wrath and what was going to come down. And so after that, women have a uncontrollable urge to control their husbands, especially when they don't man up and be the husband they need. Because as we all know, in the first year or two of marriage, everything's great. But soon as the husband, starts being aloof, starts showing her he doesn't appreciate her or taking her for granted, she begins to bring the baggage into the marriage, and then the control begins. That's how you know one of the first the first indicators that you have serious marriage problems is that your wife is nagging you, controlling you, telling you to do this and do that. You got projects all the time. You never can make her happy because every time you do something, then she wants you to do something else. Again, so when your wife feels unloved, unappreciated, or taken for granted, or that she isn't close to you, she begins to search for reassurance of your love. And what she does is she starts to test you, start to try to find out if you still love her, if you're still devoted to her. And that is why your wife needs your assurance of her love daily. Because if you don't, women are all high maintenance. I don't care if they're billionaires or they're the poorest woman that you ever known. Women need love. If you're married to them, they need assurance of your love daily. If not, they're going to start getting insecure. They're going to start thinking that you don't appreciate them and that you don't love them deeply. Because you got to remember, women do everything they do is for you, their husband, because they feel that you love them. So that's when they decide that they're going to follow you and that they're going to let you lead the family and lead you towards God. But when you don't learn, if you don't serve them first and reassure them that you will not exit and leave the marriage, because every woman instinctively thinks that her husband is going to leave them. If she's not a virgin when they get married, if she's had all these other sexual relationships with men, because before, every man that she ever had a sexual relationship before she was married, guess what? They left her. So women ain't stupid. And so in the end, instinctually they start to believe that her beloved husband, is going to leave her too. So when you start displaying these different indicators of what she's seen in the past, like ignoring her, like not showing her appreciation, not showing her, like not giving her validation of your love for her all the time, she is going to start thinking that you're leaving. So, and if you don't take her seriously, she will begin what I call the women's exit strategy. And what's the women's exit strategy? It's where she begins pondering, sometimes for years, if your marriage is going anywhere or if she's going to get rid of you. So the women's exit strategy is, first off, like I said, when she starts nagging, that's like phase 1. Then phase 2 is, if you don't get together as a man and start showing her that you love her and that you're appreciating her, that she's secure in your love, and she doesn't feel you love her, and she doesn't feel close to you, what she's going to try to do is she's going to leave. So when I say leave, I mean either she's going to move to the bedroom or in the basement or something, or she's going to ask you to leave, or she's going to get another man and move in with him, or she's going to move in by herself. That's kind of like phase 2, okay? The next thing is if you don't get together, then you got to remember that is your wife begging. When your wife leaves, that is her begging you to get it together. No matter if she goes with another man or she moves in by herself, it doesn't matter. It's all in her because she's bonded to you and she loves and wants you, but you ain't what she needs. So she's got to go find that void that you've left open somewhere. So she wants you to protect her and to save her. So the only way that she can get you to do these things is to what? Take extreme actions. And that's why she leaves. Then if you don't get together, then she'll ask for divorce or try to ask for legal separation. If you don't get together then as a man and be who she needs and man up, then what she'll do is she'll pursue the divorce. And of course, with a no-fault divorce in every state, she's going to get it. Then, if you don't get together, then she'll file for annulment because, in the eyes of the state, the divorce that's just for the state. That doesn't mean anything in the eyes of God. If you want a true separation from your husband, and any Catholic woman knows this, you have to get your marriage annulled. And what'll happen is she will go to the null. She'll start the paperwork for annulment. If you don't get together, then she'll file for the annulment. And then if it gets approved, your marriage is over in the eyes of God. So a divorce means nothing in the eyes of God. You're over but you just that your marriage is over in the eyes of the state. And every Catholic woman knows that, whether they want to believe it or not. They know that every Protestant too. They all know that marriage is forbidden by God. I mean, not marriage, divorce is forbidden by God. And then the last thing, so when the wife gets the annulment, then what that means is it's over in the eyes of God. And for all practical purposes, your marriage is over. Okay? So that's the women's exit strategy, all right? And it's all a ploy. And it's not really a ploy. It's her begging you to save her, to be the man she needs, to lead your family and lead them towards God. Because in her mind, she's done all she can do. The marriage ain't going nowhere, and she knows this because she sees she thinks in your mind that you're just like every other man out there. And when your wife starts to think that you're like every other man out there, she starts to get rid of you. Okay, so reality check. If you refuse to address this clue, eventually you will be alone in your house, and you will be in divorce court, wondering what in the heck happened. Well, what happened is you were a wuss. You didn't man up, and you lost your woman. Bam. Again, follow these 3 steps to fix your marriage now, not later. Don't procrastinate. Step 1, determine if you are in one of the following situations. Your wife has asked for a divorce or separation. Your wife has left the home, or you are separated. Your wife is in the home, but you are in separate bedrooms. Your marriage is just plain boring or has no passion. You engage in the marital embrace less than weekly, or you engage in the marital embrace less than once a month, which is severe. You are divorced but didn't want it, or you have great instincts as a man and your gut's telling you, I do not ever want my marriage to end up in the crap that I just mentioned above. Step 2, if you do find yourself in one of these situations, visit www.savemycatholicmarriage.com. That's www.savemycatholicmarriage.com. Step 3, then once there, sign up to watch the Marriage Masterclass to learn how to repair your marriage today. And so, as we always do, we conclude with my quote from Pope Benedict XVI, which states, society offers you comfort, but you weren't made for comfort. You were made for greatness. So go forth, Christian soldier. The spiritual fight is upon you. Fast, pray, and prepare for battle.